So the finals season 4 is around the corner on September 26th, and I can't wait. The new teaser just dropped, and there are confirmed 3 new guns, and the light will get an M26 mass shotgun, the medium will get some kind of DMR, and the heavy will get Akimbo Desert Eagles. And it looks like we're getting scopes and attachments on weapons as well. So that's very exciting. The gadgets are still a mystery and haven't been revealed yet, uh, but I still wanted to share my opinions regarding the gadgets that were added in Season 3 and how they were not enough to shake up the meta or even disruptive to the meta itself. The biggest disappointment of Season 3 was basically the lack of new guns, since only one ranged weapon was added, and I love the bow and have been playing it like the whole season, but still it wasn't meta because the XP54 exists and isn't competitively viable. And I also wanted to talk about the rank changes, as Terminal Attack was the only ranked playlist, and it was kind of a disappointment as well, since basically after a week nobody was playing it, and the community hasn't received it very well. That said, Mark confirmed that in Season 4 we will get Cash Out as the new ranked playlist, and I couldn't be happier, since it's actually the finals this time and not some kind of knockoff CSGO or Valorant gameplay. So, let's start by talking about the different classes, where they excel, and what role they should cover in a team composition. So, this is a graph that I made that, in my opinion, reflects the effectiveness of a given weapon related to the range that it can be used at and where it should be used at. So, from the graph, it is obvious which character can fill a certain role in a given team and at what range he excels. The medium is best used for general purpose, and his ARs cover basically all the ranges, and the shotgun can be used up close. And with the new DMR, basically his range will be further enhanced on medium to long range gunfights, which is basically what everyone has wanted from medium. The light is less versatile in terms of range because he has better DPS but relatively closer range. So you can use, for example, the SH1900, which can two-shot at heavy from close range, and you can also use the XP54 and LH1, which are currently meta, which have high DPS and high damage output from close to medium range. And if you're skilled enough, you can also use the XP54 for long range and beam people. I hope that the new semi-auto shotgun that the medium will get will close the gap between the double-barrel shotgun and the SMGs, and can be used as an entry weapon basically. The heavy is a class focused on short-range engagements, and the hammer, the flamethrower, and the new double Desert Eagles reinforce this thought. He has high DPS on close range, high survivability, and that's how Clank should work in substance. But it it's not like that in the current meta of the game. Range aside, here is a graph that, in my opinion, shows the skill required to use a weapon at a certain range, and here we can see the big difference between the classes. Personally, I consider the AK the best weapon in terms of skill floor and skill ceiling because it's very easy to use. You can use it basically at any range, from close quarters inside a building to beaming people from to the other side of the map, and is, in my opinion, the best all-around weapon in the game right now. Medium has also two other weapons. For example, the Scar is better used at longer ranges than the AK because it's easier to use because it has a scope, but has less ammo. And the FAMAS has the longest range of the bow, but is a burst weapon, so it's very hard to use, and you need to go for headshots constantly. The light class has the highest skill floor and skill ceiling because, for example, the SH1900 needs precise aim and positioning to two-shot to heavy, otherwise you just hit for hit markers, and the MP5 can be used at longer ranges if you can control the recoil. The Heavy has two different skill ranges, and for example, if you want to play with long range weapons, you have to contend with the heavy recoil that comes with the M60 and the Lewis gun, and if you want to play short range, you'll have to get used to the strange 4-shot pattern of the SA1216. And if you want to use the hammer, you have to rely on your teammates to heal you and support you because it's gonna be very difficult playing without support. So basically every single class has its range and its skill ceiling. Oh wait, this is the Season 2 graph. Here's the actual Season 3 graph. And here is my first issue with the balancing that finally shows itself. And it's the Winch Claw, because of course it is. The one reason that the Winch Claw essentially breaks the game is that it literally has no counter, or at least not a real one, since glitching the heavy either constantly or before he winches you is basically impossible. But not only does it have no counter, it outright removes control from the player that gets winched. So you can't do anything about it. The last time that something like this was implemented in my recent memory was when Nomad was released into Rainbow Six Siege, and her gadget was the air jab, which was a rifle mounted grenade that could push a player affected by it onto the ground, basically. And it took all control away from the player, and you could do nothing about it. And the biggest reason why this is OP is because when you get flashed or stunned, you could fight back. You were at a disadvantage, but you could shoot back at the enemy. While when you got hit by a Nomad, you were on the ground and people used to entry frag with Nomad. And there was nothing you could do about it. You could use Jaeger, yes, but it wasn't the same thing. And in the finals, there is no Jaeger, so you cannot counter the Winchclaw. Another issue with the Winchclaw is that it can grab you through shields. It can grab the cash out, and even if it shouldn't be supposed to, it can grab you through walls with bad enough connectivity, which has happened to me on more than one occasion. And the most frustrating thing is that you can do nothing about it, and if you play light, even when you dash, you're basically one shot. And the main issue is that the Winchclaw is used by the Heavy class, which is, as I said before, a class that specializes into close range engagements, and a class that has a hammer that does 160 damage, I think, which can basically one shot a light player, and basically one shot a medium player as well. So you have no counter to it. You can't run away, and you get one shot by the heavy, turning the gunfight from a 3v3 into a 2v3, putting your team at an instant disadvantage, and again, you can do nothing about it. And in my opinion, this must change in order to maintain the competitive integrity of the game, because in no competitive game you can one shot a player in the enemy team by pressing two buttons, which is completely overpowered. You could remove the Winchclaw completely from the game, which is my favorite option, or you could rework it in order to make it less powerful, as to not be able to grab players, but for example, rip apart buildings. Like if there's a wall, you can winch claw the wall and then rips a piece of out of the building, and you can create a new hole, which plays into the whole distraction aspect of the game, which could make it fun to use and not completely useless. This is obviously my opinion, but I share this opinion with lots of my friends who think the Winchclaw is completely busted and needs to be removed from the game. It might just be that I'm bad. Comment in the comment section if you think that I'm bad, but you know, it's frustrating. You can't play light because you get one shot and you have to wait 30 seconds to respawn into the match, and that's just not fun. So now that my Winchclaw rant is over, let's talk about the roles that each class should fill. Starting from the easier one, medium, and the medium is intended to be a support character because he has the healing gun, he has versatile weapons, and he has the defibrillator, which is currently the best gadget in the game. The light is supposed to be the DPS class or the initiator, so he has to go in, get a kill or disrupt the enemy team, and go out, basically vanish. Because his weapons are high DPS, he is highly mobile, but he gets blown apart by a shotgun like instantly. And in Cash Out, he is being currently carried by the Glitch Grenade, and in Terminal Attack, he used to be a menace with a sniper because since the health didn't regenerate to full, and if you hit someone, you would put him at a severe disadvantage for the rest of the round, since there's no healing. And here comes my second problem with the Heavy class. The Heavy is too versatile, because he can fill too many roles at once. He has bubble shields, mesh shields, and barricades, and 350 health, which makes him a perfect tank. And that should be it. He shouldn't be able to do anything else. But he also has an RPG that deals instant 140 damage to players in a splash radius. So if you hit 3 people, you have basically won the gunfight because they're so low they can't fight back effectively. Then you have an LMG with a large magazine and a C4 for distraction, so he can also play as a support character. All this combined with a Winchclaw, the shotgun, and a medium player that most likely is going to be behind the heavy, constantly healing him, makes for an oppressive meta that is not fun to play. Simply put. And even if you manage to glitch them with a good light player on your team, after 5 seconds the glitch effect is gone, and every 7 seconds the heavy can Winchclaw you, which is simply not fun to play against. Winchclaw apart, the RPG is also a problem in my opinion, and shouldn't be used as a DPS tool or an initiation gadget for a gunfight that puts the enemy team at a disadvantage, but should be used as a distraction tool, as the C4, just remote, just like the thermal bore, which should, yes, be more destructive, but not as damaging. And one of my proposed changes is to make it do less damage, about 10 or 30, and can be used as an air jab, for example. Like, not instantly, but you can push players away. It deals a lot of knockback against players and could stop the cash out, move the cash box, and could also be used as a movement ability for the heavy. Think as the Team Fortress 2 soldier. So if you want to use a jump, or instead of using a jump pad, you can just RPG at your feet and fly up 50 meters in the air, which should be fun. It would introduce a new tech, a new movement tech, and it would be less frustrating to the enemy teams and make for fairer gunfights. And by balancing the heavy, there is less pressure on other classes, such as the medium, which could free up the healing gun spot in favor of the Materializer, which is a very fun gadget, which is only present in the finals, which is very special to the game and very fun to use. Or even make the light players more prevalent, because you don't get one shot by a Winchclaw and Hammer, you don't get put at 10 HP instantly after seeing a heavy from 50 meters away, and you are less constrained about using the glitch grenade. You could use yet other gadgets, for example, the thermal bore for distraction, or you could use, I don't know, the most useful light gadget. You could use flashbangs to have fun, which should be like the main interest of a game is to have fun. So these are my thoughts on the season 3 balancing of the finals. I hope you didn't find the video too boring, and comment in the comment section what you think could be changed if I'm just bad and I cry about the Winchclaw constantly and the RPG as well, or if there's some truth behind what I'm saying. And I'm positive about Season 4. I hope they make a lot of balancing changes to the game. I can't wait to play Cash Out Ranked again, and I can't wait for the finals to be back, because in my opinion Season 4 is the turning point of the finals. It's gonna be great, and I can't wait to play it. So remember to tune in on September 26th, and see you then. Bye bye.